Imagine writing one of the greatest love songs of all time. For the wife of your best friend, that's exactly what Eric Clapton did. And the song that came out of that heartbreak? Layla. It's a story of obsession, betrayal, devotion.
What do you do when you get lonely?
And a masterpiece that almost didn't happen. This is the love triangle behind Layla, one of the most iconic rock songs ever recorded. In 1964, a young model named Pattie Boyd was cast in a film with the Beatles. That film was A Hard Day's Night.
Miss, you mustn't fraternize with meat prisoners.
Prisoners?
Convict in transit.
On set, she met George Harrison. 2 years later, they were married, and Pattie had already inspired one of the greatest Beatles love songs, Something. At first, George denied it was about her. He said he was just playing with the phrase, something in the way she moves. But years later, he admitted it. Yes, Pattie was the muse.
Maybe Pattie, probably.
Really?
I think I wrote it at the time when we were making the last double album. And it's just the first line, something in the way she moved, which has been in millions of songs. It's not a special thing, but it just seemed quite apt.
She remembers the day he came home from the studio. He said, "I wrote this for you. It's going to be a single." She listened, and it was beautiful. A song written just for her.
Back from the studio one day, and he played something for me, and he said, "We've just recorded this. I wrote it for you, and it's going to be on the single." I said, "Oh my God, this is so exciting. I can't believe it." And so I listened it and listened and listened it, and it was just the most beautiful song. And, I just thought it was fantastic. And I was deeply honored that he had written that for me.
But behind the beauty, cracks had started to form. George grew distant. He dove deeper into Eastern spirituality, music, and meditation. He was searching for something beyond fame, and into that emotional distance stepped George's close friend, Eric Clapton. At first, Eric and George were inseparable. They wrote songs together, jammed endlessly, even traded solos. Clapton played the legendary guitar part on While My Guitar Gently Weeps. But something else was growing.
I was driving into London with Eric, and I said, "Hey, what are you doing? Why don't you come to the studio and play on this song for me?" And he says, "Oh no, I can't do that. Nobody's ever played on a Beatles record, and the others wouldn't like that."
Clapton was falling in love with Pattie, and he couldn't stop it. He became obsessed.
Huge commitment to Indian spirituality and how that would lead him to be fairly dismissive of, the material things that we had all come to enjoy, And I had become, bit by bit, more and more obsessed with his wife, Pattie, and was making amateur kind of inroads into finding out what was going on and what was happening to their relationship.
He couldn't sleep. He couldn't write. He was spiraling, caught between love and guilt. Then one day, a friend gave him a book, a 12th century Persian love story called Layla and Majnun. In it, a man falls deeply in love with a woman he can't have. Denied by her family, he loses his mind, wanders the desert consumed by love, writing poetry to her. They're never allowed to be together. In the end, they die apart, reunited only in death. Clapton read the book, and everything clicked. He was Majnun, Pattie was Layla. So Clapton did the only thing he knew how to do. He picked up his guitar and poured his heartbreak into a song. He formed a new band, Derek and the Dominoes.
Finest musical groups in the world. Welcome Bobby Whitlock, Jim Gordon, Carl Radle, and Eric Clapton. Derek and the Dominoes.
In the summer of 1970, Clapton and the band headed to Miami to record. That same summer, he saw Duane Allman of the Allman Brothers play live. The connection was instant. Duane came into the studio and started trading guitar lines with Clapton like they'd known each other for years. Producer Tom Dowd called it telepathy on tape.
Dwayne was a fan of Eric's and Eric was a fan of Dwayne's.
What made Layla legendary wasn't just the lyrics, it was the emotion in the sound. The guitar riff hit like a punch, sharp, pleading, unforgettable. And then, near the end, a complete shift. The storm fades, and a soft, haunting piano melody takes over. That outro, a quiet moment of heartbreak, is one of the most emotional closings in rock history. It's credited to drummer Jim Gordon. But that's where the story gets complicated. According to multiple sources, including Gordon's bandmate Bobby Whitlock and singer Rita Coolidge, the melody came from a song Jim and Rita had written together, a ballad called Time. But only Clapton and Gordon got credit. And Jim Gordon's life would later spiral out of control. Behind the talent, he battled undiagnosed schizophrenia. In 1983, he murdered his mother. He claimed the voices told him to do it. He was sentenced to life in prison and died in 2023. That beautiful piano coda, part of a haunting legacy. When Layla was finished, Clapton invited Pattie over. He sat her down and played it for her. She knew instantly this was about her.
Full and magical. There was such a passion and energy in the song. I was so flattered, but I was also so worried that George would work out why Eric had written this song. I heard it. I felt that I was being pushed into leaving George and being with him. And I wasn't sure how I felt about it. But it's a beautiful song.
All of it. The obsession, the desperation, the beauty. She was touched, but also scared. Clapton had just confessed everything through music. And she was still married to George. She didn't leave, not yet. And Clapton was devastated. The album, Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs, came out in 1970. And it flopped. It barely charted in the US or the UK. The song was too long, the band was new, and Clapton didn't even put his name on the album cover. He wanted it to be about the music, not the fame. But over time, the world caught up. That guitar, that piano, that raw pain. Layla started to gain a cult following, and eventually it became iconic. In time, Pattie did leave George.
I have to know what you feel about that. Or, I mean, if it's almost like, well, if you want me to stop or go away, I will, but I need to know what. And he was very kind of cavalier. He said, well, take her, she's yours kind of thing. But in fact, can I have that? We'll swap,
She went to him, told him the truth. There were feelings. Things had changed. George's reaction? He said, take her. She's yours. It sounds cold, but in George's world, the world of meditation, karma, and letting go, he was trying to rise above it. By then, the marriage had unraveled and the friendship between George and Eric survived in its own strange way. In 1992, Clapton gave Layla a second life. This time, stripped down, slower, softer. A moment of reflection. It was part of his MTV Unplugged set, and it was breathtaking. Gone was the chaos. Now it was memory, regret, growth. The album sold 26 million copies, won 6 Grammys, and helped a whole new generation fall in love with the song. One of those kids was sitting on his couch in England, watching the Queen's Golden Jubilee. Suddenly, Clapton walked on stage and started playing Layla. That 11-year-old boy was blown away. He turned to his dad and asked, "What is that?" His dad handed him a CD, Derek and the Dominoes. That boy was Ed Sheeran. Layla wasn't just a song anymore. It was a spark, a torch passed on.
Yeah, it was the first and only thing that I could play for a long time.
Layla was born from a forbidden love, but it became something much more. It captured the feeling of wanting something you can't have and turning that pain into beauty. It flopped at first. It was misunderstood, too long, too loud, too honest. But today, Layla stands among the greatest rock songs ever written. It's a song that broke rules, told the truth, and changed music forever. If this story moved you, tell us what song changed everything for you. And don't miss our episodes on November Rain and Take My Breath Away. Thanks for watching Track Tales, or T, where every great song has a greater story.